Hi everyone, and welcome to the academic session on how to pick your major. My name is Kristen Smith, and I'm going to be presenting this content today. Before we get into it, I just want to give a little backstory on where I'm from, what I do now, and how I came to decide on my major. So currently I serve as the Assistant Director for Campus Visits and Enrollment Initiatives and the Admissions Office at Arkansas Tech University. I moved up here 3 years ago. I'm originally from Southwest Louisiana, where this little smiley face is down in the corner. So I grew up, born and raised, about 30 minutes from the Gulf of Mexico. So we know when the hurricanes are rolling in firsthand. And the highest point of elevation down there are these little like crawfish mounds that crawfish build in our backyards. So when I moved up here and I actually got to see like real mountains and things like that, it was definitely a breath of fresh air. So love it up here in Arkansas now. Back in my hometown, I attended McNeese State University, where I majored in foreign languages and I specialized in Spanish and French down there. But before that, I was an elementary education major, then I changed my major again, and then I finally ended up landing on foreign languages. So if there's any wisdom that I have to impart on incoming students, just know that it's okay if you don't know 100% for sure what you want to do for the rest of your life or what you want to study in college. Oftentimes you get there and you try things out and you decide it might not be for you, so you change course. Or you decide, I really like this, so you stick to that course, but just know that you don't have to have it all figured out. I changed my major 3 times and still graduated within 4 years, and I almost could have graduated a semester early. So just know that you can still change your major, you can still figure things out, and I've already gone to graduate school and graduated, and I'm still not sure what I want to do with my life. So just know that there's no pressure to have it figured all out, especially so early in the college stages. But if anything, go with something that you thoroughly enjoy doing, something that you don't dread going into work for, something that you're happy to do. Obviously, there's some other components that you have to prioritize, maybe, but at the end of the day, definitely go into something that you're good at and that you enjoy doing. Okay, so what do you want to study? Maybe you have something in mind already, maybe you don't. But let's take a look at the decision-making process behind this big decision. But where do we start? Well, first of all, let's just start at Arkansas Tech in general, what they have to offer, what they're like. Because before you decide on what you want to study, maybe you want to take a look at different institutions. That could be a good place for you to go attend college. So Arkansas Tech University, we're the third largest university in the state of Arkansas. We have 2 different campuses in Russellville, Arkansas, which is the main campus, and then another one in Ozark, Arkansas, and that's where we have a lot of our 2-year, 1-year programs. So if you're interested in trades or anything of that nature, you're definitely more interested in our Ozark campus. If you're interested in more 4-year degrees, then that would be located at our main campus. Our main campus has around 10,000 students, and our Ozark campus has around 1,500 or so. Our main campus is the #1 STEM institution in the state of Arkansas, meaning that we are the leader in the state for all majors related to science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. So if that's kind of a field that you're wanting to get into, then definitely consider Arkansas Tech because we're the leader in that in Arkansas. We're also the leader in online education providing. So if you, for whatever reason, want to take your courses online, even if it's just for the first year or 2 of college, we have an excellent system set up for that. So we're really good with our online classes. We're also #1 in the state for providing students with upward social mobility. Just another way of saying that we work with a lot of first-generation college students, and we have affordable rates for a 4-year public institution. Class sizes, you can expect those to typically be around 20 to 25 students. Obviously, as you go along in your degree program, those can dwindle to 10 students, maybe even less in some instances, depending on the classes that you're in. But our student-to-teacher ratio is 18 to 1. So again, you can expect a lot of personalization, a lot of attention from your professors, and it might honestly be similar to the class sizes of your high school. As far as degree programs, we have over 140 undergraduate programs, which is what you would study first. But if you're interested in continuing your education, we do have around 30 graduate programs. And one of those I was in, just graduated from last year. And of course, we love hiking because this is Arkansas. Okay, so that was a little bit about Arkansas Tech just in general, to lay a foundation. But in getting to more of the decision-making process for what am I going to study, let's talk about the Career Services Center. So I highly encourage students to get involved in this office soon and early. As soon as you're a freshman, even though you're not really necessarily looking for jobs just yet, you're like, I just got to college, I'm just worried about, finding out where my dorm is and how to use the library. But I wish when I was a freshman that I would have gone to more job fairs or gone into the Career Services Center a little sooner to do career coaching, things like that, services like that, because I waited until I was a senior, and that's when the pressure's on, and it feels like it's too late, especially with the career coaching, because you could have changed your major earlier or gone on a different track earlier. Plus, when you go as a freshman, that pressure's off, so you can just enjoy yourself, get used to talking with employers, and networking, maybe build some foundations early. Maybe even you get an internship offer for one summer, and that can lead to something later on. But I definitely encourage you to get involved in that stuff early on. That way, when you're a senior, you're really comfortable with it, and maybe you already have connections established. Now, I want to talk about Handshake. Handshake is kind of our Indeed. It's like our search engine for the university. It's accessible through your OneTech account. So if you click on the Student Life tab on your OneTech account, you'll see this probably around the middle of the page. You click on Handshake and it takes you, this is a snippet from the home page. So you can see that you can look up jobs, and that's on-campus jobs if you want to have an on-campus job, and it's also off-campus. You can just search employers, just like an engine search for different employers from around the state. There's really no, you can just filter community stuff, so you can actually search other student profiles, which is something I just found out, which is really cool, to network with them, and then also different alumni who went to the university. Career paths. So this is where you could actually search different jobs, and you can see like the education required for that job. You can see how much they typically get paid. You can see the different duties that they have to do. See all sorts of information about the careers, where those jobs are typically located, et cetera, et cetera. And then events. So any type of job fair or maybe an interview workshop, things like that that the Career Services Center hosts. They'll post them. They'll send you emails, of course, but they'll also post it and you register through here. So lots of stuff that they have right off the bat that you can just take advantage of through your computer. You don't even have to go into the office or talk to anybody, but you can get started on that. But I want to talk more about that exploring the career paths. Because obviously we study a certain major in order to get to a career path. So let's look at the destination in order to figure out what that journey is going to look like for you. So another thing that the Career Services Center offers is a focus to self-assessment. And I've taken this, and at my undergrad university, I also took something similar to this. It was called like type focus. They always say focus in them, but basically a lot of undergraduate universities have these types of assessments. Their Career Services Center. But if you want to get started on doing like one of these assessments, you can. There are a lot of free ones available on the internet in general. If you just Google things like career assessment questionnaire, things like that. It's very similar to if you've ever taken a Myers-Briggs test or any of those like personality tests. It's kind of like that, except instead of like gauging what your personality is, it gauges what type of careers you would be really good in. And they do this. This one in particular will look at your work interest assessment. It'll ask you things like, are you comfortable with, like Excel data, or are you more comfortable like talking with people, different things that you might encounter in the workplace. you want a high-paced work environment, or do you want something slow? Do you want to be on your feet a lot, or do you want to sit behind a desk? Just like really easy questions that you can answer right off the top of your head. Your values assessment, it asks you tons of different things about what you value in life, and those can range and they might seem off the wall, but it's calculating stuff slowly in an algorithm. There's a little personality assessment, are you quiet? Are you more outgoing? Are you more analytical? Are you more creative? It'll ask you a bunch of different questions that will figure that out. Skills, what are you good at? Like, what are your hobbies? What do you gravitate towards? Do you like working with your hands? Do you like doing stuff more with computers? Again, they just ask you a lot of questions, and you don't even really think about it. You just answer based off of the first thing that pops up in your head. And then a leisure assessment. What do you like to do for fun? Because again, like, it's about finding something that you enjoy doing. So it'll ask you, how do you like to spend your time? Do you like to sit and read a book? Do you like to watch movies? Do you like to just hang out inside? Or do you like to go outside and you like to work with your hands? Do you like woodworking? Do you like gardening? Different things like that. And then finally, it will combine all those assessments, and it will pull up a list of different occupations that it recommends for you. But not only will it do occupations, it'll also do majors as well. So I had taken it, and I just say this was a snippet. Obviously, those were links in the actual website that I could click on, but it will save everything for you. All my results, even though I took it 2 years ago, I can still go back in and access them. So if I was, thinking about a career change, I could be like, okay, well, what careers would be good for me? And you might already know some things that might be good for you, but we're limited to the sphere of experience and knowledge that we have. So maybe you've never heard of being an XYZ or such and such position. So seeing a whole list of things helps you to explore more possibilities than what you've been surrounded by. For example, if my mom's a nurse and my dad's a teacher, and I want to be a teacher, that's like I probably don't know of more opportunities and different things that I could be, so I just fixate on that. But it's always good to expand your realm of experience and explore the possibilities. So this is another thing at the end. It says, what can I do with a major in blank offered at Arkansas Tech? So you can directly see the correlation with careers and majors that we have here at Tech. What can I do if I majored in blank? Explore any occupation. Explore occupations by job family. So that might be education, healthcare, just clusters of different occupations. And then compare two occupations side by side. So they have a lot of different options that you can do, but this really helped me a lot. And actually, when I took this back in undergrad when I was a senior and I had a career coaching, this job that I have now, a higher education administrator, was one of my top results. And this is what I do now. I love my job so much. So this definitely works. So this is just an example, though, of how Arkansas Tech has theirs laid out. Obviously, if you come to school here, I definitely say take this, and that way, you might be able to explore more occupations, more majors that you hadn't considered previously. But if you want to get that out of the way before you even decide on a college, then they have lots of assessments like this available online. Okay, so what do you want to be? Here, this is a big screenshot. This is a list of all of our undergraduate programs that we have at Arkansas Tech. So as you can see, we kind of have them organized by academic college. So here are all the business degrees that we offer: accounting, business administration. This ABA means that it's a 2-year program instead of a 4-year program. Business data analytics, this is something that 19-year-old Kristen would not have known about. So I might look into that program more and see, what does it involve? How much do they make? Is this a growing job market or is it decreasing? Where are these jobs located? If you wanted to, marine biology is one that I use a lot as an example, because marine biology is not a great field to go into necessarily for people who live in landlocked states. Like Arkansas, for example, you might want to concentrate on freshwater more because we have lakes and not oceans here in Arkansas. So you might want to look into where are these jobs typically located. Do I have to move in order to have a position like this? Or can I stay local where my family's at? All these different things that you have to consider when you're looking into majors and careers in general. Business education, that's if you want to teach high school business classes, finance, different management tracks, and also different marketing. For the College of Natural and Health Sciences, they have applied statistics, actuarial science, and data science. These are new programs if you are pretty good at mathematics. Biology, a super popular program. You can focus in biomedical if you wanted to do pre-med or pre-physical therapy, pre-occupational therapy, any of those healthcare tracks, or general. Chemistry, biochemistry is a good program to go into if you want to be pre-dental, but they have all sorts of different options depending on what career path you want to go into. Chemistry education to teach in high school, engineering, physics, environmental science, fisheries and wildlife science, again, more freshwater stuff with that environmental science. Geology, health information management, that's like in hospitals, they have all sorts of databases that contain patient information. That would be more of that job. So you'd be working within healthcare, but more as an administrator. The list goes on: mathematics, laboratory science, nuclear medical technology, nuclear physics, nursing. We're the #1 nursing school in the state of Arkansas. Physical science, physics, College of Arts and Humanities, art education. They have communication and journalism, creative writing, criminal justice, which is offered completely online if you need to go to online school. English, fine arts, game and interactive media design, graphic design, history, international studies, journalism, once again, music, great music department for band and choir, political science, psychology, rehabilitation science, world languages, which was what I studied. The list goes on and on. Now, they don't mention here you could also minor. You can minor in Spanish, you can minor in French, you can minor in Japanese and German. They're just not listed here. The College of Education, if you want to be an educator, you can do. You can get an associate's degree in early childhood education. You can get a 4-year degree in elementary education. Do health and physical education, and that's if you wanted to be a coach for high school. Middle level, so if you are undecided, I used to be an elementary education major when I first started, but if you're undecided about what grades you want to teach, I always recommend doing middle level education because after you graduate, if you wanted to teach secondary, all you'd have to do is test up in the praxis exams, and that's how you get your licensure as a teacher to make sure you're certified in your content area and your pedagogy. Which is teaching theory. So if you're unsure about which age group you want to do, or if you just want to have versatility as an employee, then I definitely recommend middle level because you can test down in the praxis in order to be an elementary educator, or you can test up to do secondary education. Whereas if you did secondary in college or just elementary, you could not, it would be more difficult to jump from secondary to elementary and vice versa. Okay, next college is the College of Engineering and Applied Sciences, a lot more of our STEM degrees. Agriculture, they have business and education. Now, we did start as an agricultural school back in 1909, so this is in our blood if you're interested in that. Computer engineering, computer science, cybersecurity. Think about how much of your data is stored on the internet every single time you go to make a purchase with your credit card on Amazon.com, and how these companies need to take cybersecurity measures in order to keep your information safe. Obviously, you're going to get really great jobs in any of these programs. Electrical engineering, you can do a biomedical option with that if you want to go to med school, and then you get a little extra edge over other pre-med students because you have that electrical engineering background, and that's working with a lot of the technology that hospitals use in their equipment, especially things like cytology, where they use a lot of artificial intelligence to help make diagnoses. Emergency management, that's really important. I mean, we've had to have a lot of emergency management with the COVID pandemic or natural disasters like hurricanes. Hospitality administration, you can do event management, food service, or lodging management. Info systems, IT, mechanical engineering, nuclear technology, recreation and park administration, if you want to work for our national or state parks. And then e-tech, if you want to attend school online. I mentioned earlier about pre-dental and all of those pre-professional programs. Here's a comprehensive list of those different programs that we offer that would get you from point A to point B if you want to go to professional school after college. Oops. All right, just a more in-depth look at these different programs. I love talking about them because I've gotten to see a lot of students hands-on in these different programs. Also want to show you all just classroom spaces. But the ones that I've listed tend to be popular choices for a lot of students. Wildlife and fisheries. This classroom right here on the bottom right of the screen, that is the wildlife classroom. So you can see the taxidermy animals, but this little cage right here is terrarium. The fun fact, this entire classroom has terrariums with live snakes in them 24/7. So these students are actually taking a class or listening to the lecture with snakes surrounded by them. But it's wildlife and fisheries, so you're getting hands-on experience all the time in a real-life setting for that field that you want to go into. And that remains true for all of our programs. Each academic building is definitely themed and tailored towards the program that you're studying. For example, this is in Corley Hall. This is McKeever Hall, by the way. This is in Corley Hall, which is the building for different engineering and applied sciences. And this is a cybersecurity lab. Now, they have the regular lights turned on, but you might notice there are green lights. They turn those down and it makes you feel like you're in an NCIS TV show or something. But these are touchscreen monitors, and they have the big computers, the actual computer part underneath the table. But they do cybersecurity classes in here. But to the next of it, which I don't have a picture of, is the Dirty Lab, is what we call it. Formerly, it's the Cyber Defense Lab, and that lab is actually off of the main ATU network. It has its separate network, and students and faculty actively download malware, viruses, like all sorts of bugs, so students can actually practice anti-hacking without damaging the ATU network. So again, hands-on environment, hands-on experience all the time. This is a mechanical engineering student working on one of the vehicles that they built for the Shell Econ Eco Marathon that they competed in 2019 in California. A2 placed second in the nation and fifth internationally. And their vehicle here that they're building got, I want to say it was 969 miles per gallon. And the gallon, the fuel tank that they used was actually a plastic 2-liter Coke bottle. And they used bicycle tires. You can kind of see a little bit of the bicycle tire here. Just lots of cool, innovative stuff that they're doing. You can see a chemistry lab over here, biology classroom right here. Just an example of some of the props that they have in your room. This is an emergency management classroom. So they're looking, it looks like they're looking at different storms forming in the Gulf of Mexico. So again, each classroom is themed for the program that it hosts, and you're getting tons of hands-on experience with that. Okay, so those are some of the STEM programs. Other programs, of course, art, they do all of it's hands-on. Actually, in Norman Hall, which is the art building, pretty much every classroom is just named studio because you're constantly working with your hands. I believe this is a picture from our greenhouse for horticulture students. This is a picture from inside Rothwell Hall, which is the academic building for the College of Business. And I believe this is from a marketing class. And then this is a picture of one of our ensembles playing on top of Mount Nebo. And these are music students. So again, lots of hands-on experience through and through. For journalism, the Energy Center, which is the academic building for journalism and communication, they have a live TV show set with the Canon lights, the green screen, and the cameras, and also a radio station. Parks, Rec, and Hospitality Administration, they have their very own industrial kitchen for food service. I mean, pretty much all of them, even event and lodging management, take different cooking courses to learn about restaurant management and even things on how to prepare food working in an industrial kitchen. So again, tons of hands-on stuff. More about art, we have an art gallery in Norman Hall, and so every month they put on a new display from these different students in these programs. So like the game and interactive media design people, they'll set up TV monitors with remote controllers and like actual build out real video games or other interactive media that current students can come and like test out, which is really cool. Okay. So one thing I do want to mention are degree maps because they show you piece by piece what you would be studying. And by piece, I mean class by class. Now, the second time I changed my major, I changed it to Spanish education because I wanted to teach high school Spanish. But when I took a look at the actual degree map, it only had me taking 6 whole Spanish classes. And I really wanted to master the Spanish language. So when I actually saw the degree map, I was like, man, that is not enough for me. I wanted to take as many language courses as I possibly could. So I changed my major again to straight foreign languages, and I got to take like 20 Spanish classes and multiple French classes, and I got to study abroad and do all these things that I wanted to do. So I always want to talk about the degree maps because if you're still deciding on a program, or maybe something sounds really good in your head, and you're like, I really think I'd like XYZ, but then you look at the degree map and you realize that you have to take 5 chemistries, and I was terrible at chemistry in high school, then I might want to rethink that because if that career has to do a lot with chemistry, I'm not going to enjoy that too much. So let's take a look at an example of a degree map. So this is an actual degree map for biology. I figured I would use that as an example. So it lists a couple of possible careers, but of course this is not an exhaustible list. But it breaks it down, and it's a sample schedule. It breaks it down semester by semester. So typically you need 120 total credit hours is what they call them. Most classes are worth 3 credit hours, meaning that you go to class 3 hours a week. But some of them, as you can see here, they have the hours listed in this row. These are all 3, 3. This one's just 1, so you only go for 1 hour each week. And this is just a typical orientation class. And this one's worth 4, meaning that you probably have a lab that you have to go to as well. So you sit in class for lecture for 3 hours a week, and it's typically broken up on a Monday, Wednesday, Friday, or a Tuesday, Thursday. And on the Monday, Wednesday, Friday, class is about 50 minutes long. And on Tuesday, Thursday, it's about an hour and 20 minutes long. And then if you have that 4 credit hours, you have a lab, and those are typically Thursday afternoons or Tuesday afternoons for 1 hour. And that's where you get a lot of your hands-on experience. But if you'll see here, you got English comp, so introduction to writing, a social science elective, you might take psychology, geography, sociology, one of those, Math 113, college algebra, and then you're taking 2 of your major-based courses, so 2 biologies. Going into next semester, you got to take that next comp, another social science elective, physical activity, and then another biology, but we're getting a little, as you see that 2 right there, it means it's a little bit more advanced. The 1000, of course, is like baseline, 2000, more intermediate, 3000, definitely intermediate, and then 4000 is upper level. A math elective, and as you can see, I won't go through each and every one, but you get a better look. Oh, there's a chemistry, another chemistry, another chemistry, 4 chemistries. See that? Instantly, I would be scared to death. But it gives you a look, and you'll notice all these things where it says social science, and it doesn't really say an exact class, or where it says general elective, things like that. That's where you can pick and choose what you want to specialize in and what you want to add to your degree program. Not every degree program has as much wiggle room. For an example, something like nursing, you've got to stay very on track. But like my degree program with foreign languages, I was able to pick and choose a lot of different electives for me. And typically what I do, if it said general elective, I would pick another Spanish course or another French course or a Latin course or something that was related to what I was studying because I wanted to get more mastery. But for all these general electives, man, you could add a minor. You could minor in Japanese, or you could minor in accounting. Like, you can add on all these things instead of letting your general electives go to waste. So they have other things, keys down here, other little rules that you have to get a C or better in all of your major classes. But basically, I just wanted to give you a look when you're trying to decide on a degree program. Take a look at the degree maps. These are all available through the Academic Advising Center's website. It's where I pulled this one from, and at least every single one for every single major. And then if you look at, principles of zoology, and I don't even know what that means, you can go into our course catalog and Google like course descriptions, Arkansas Tech, and it pulls up the entire catalog of all of our classes, and it will give you a brief description of what each class means. So if I'm not sure what principles of botany means, then I can pull that up and read a description, read if it has any lab fees associated with it, etc., etc. And that's going to come in handy when you have to pick a biology elective or a general elective and you're trying to decide what class do I want to do. I'm not sure what they mean. Then you can look in those course descriptions and see exactly like what you'd be studying. That way you can understand what you're getting into more. Okay, so that's the gist of what I wanted to share. Of course, like, you kind of find things out along the way. I didn't, I think it was actually for an elective that I decided to take a Spanish class. And after I took one class, I knew that I wanted to study that instead of elementary education. So I changed my major. Spanish was the thing that I did. And so you just never know. So definitely do your research, explore different options, do those assessments that kind of give you a better idea, more comprehensive look at different majors you can study or different occupations you can be involved in, and make the most informed decision for you, but ultimately go with something that you love. So thank you for your attention. If you have any questions, be sure to contact the admissions office or the academic department of your interest.